One of the biggest concerns I hear from my students is not knowing how they will react in a life-threatening situations. I get questions like, will I freeze and forget everything I know? Will I be afraid? Will I do what I'm supposed to do? While it is true that you can never be completely prepared for that specific moment, it's also true that proper training and learning about what to expect can help. In this episode of Tips and Tactics, Applied Firearms Defense Skills instructors Kat and Whitney will explain the different ways our body and our mind will likely react in a life-threatening situation.
In a life-threatening confrontation, your mind and body will be faced with a series of obstacles. Your reaction determines the outcome. Let's look at some psychological responses. Fight. Once you determine that your only option is to fight, act decisively and with a will to win. Flight. This is by far the best option, if at all possible. The use of a firearm in self-defense, even if it's your only viable option, has consequences. So if you can get away, do. Freeze. The more time you get stuck in this phase, the less time you have to process and carry out your plan. Posture. Depending on the situation, a display of your confidence and unwillingness to back down can change the dynamic and diffuse a situation. Submit. This is the worst option. At that point, you're basically giving up. If you can't run from the situation, you have to fight.
Now let's look at some physiological responses. Loss of fine motor skills. In a life-threatening confrontation, your fine motor skills will be the first to go. Tunnel vision. It's almost like your surrounding environment disappears. Auditory exclusion. Concentrating on the threat almost can make sounds go unheard. Skewed perception of time. Although lasting just seconds, the entire event seems to play out in slow motion. Adrenaline rush. Adrenaline dumped into your system can cause your muscles to tremble. It's very important to incorporate stress into your training. Any practice is better than none, but adding some reality-based training into your practice can make all the difference.
Remember, the single most crucial aspect of surviving a life-threatening confrontation is the determination to persevere, prevail, and never give up.
Thank you, Kat and Whitney, for your take on this important subject. I absolutely agree that we have to be determined to persevere and never give up. The best way to keep our mind and our body in sync with our determination is to follow a weekly training program. This will give you confidence in your abilities should you ever encounter a life-threatening situation. I am Gaby Franco, and I'll see you next time in another episode of Tips and Tactics, sponsored by Cabela's Outdoor Fund.